Okay, so we're out and about. I have taken this path in the past, but just the once. I'm already about 4 miles into the ride on 25th of September 2025, and it is exactly, if you can see that, 10 o'clock. Not 10:01, not 9:59. So, I wasn't going to start recording until the turn back, because some of the videos have been like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and I'm like, nobody wants to sit there and listen to me talk that long. Not even people I know. But since we're doing something slightly different today, I decided I would start recording early, just in case. So, as you can see, there is not a cloud in the sky anywhere. We are facing kind of southeast right now. No clouds to the west. No clouds to the north. No clouds anywhere. Welcome to Colorado. After 2 days of clouds, we get no clouds. Whew. And I'm not in any kind of pedal assist yet, so 4 miles of pedaling an 80-pound bike. My thighs are hurting, but in a good way. I'm probably going to turn pedal assist on here shortly, just because I am going a little slower than I prefer. I watched a video on YouTube earlier. Channel is called Fortnine. It's a motorcycle channel. The host, Ryan F9, is very smart and probably more intelligent than the average motorcycle rider. He has a degree in engineering, so he breaks apart the engineering of different kinds of bikes, different kinds of engines, how certain things support certain things and other things don't support other things, etc. So this morning he was doing one where he was comparing I want to say like a 150cc little motorcycle that got like 10 horsepower to a $5,000 e-bike that had 5,700 watts of power at its disposal, or as he calculated, roughly 7 horsepower. So he's like, it's a fair deal. Now his channel's based out of Vancouver, and I guess him and somebody else on the team each took one of the bikes and raced across town. And they got there approximately the same time, with the bicycle having to go through town and the motorcycle being relegated to highways. The bicycle did lose to the motorcycle, but only because, as the host demonstrated, on his particular bike, the chain kept popping off. So he said like 3 times, I think he said, in the course of, oh man, look at all that garbage. In the course of their little race, the chain popped off, and he had to, the first time he was trying to he stopped the bike, put it on his kickstand, tried to put the chain on, but when he did, apparently he didn't turn the bike off, and the bike recognized the sprocket turning, assumed somebody was pedaling, and started to go, which, not good on any account when you're trying to put the chain back on. And then the motorcycle had to stop for gas because it only had like a 1-gallon tank or something, 1.5-gallon tank. But the whole premise of the video was that e-bikes are starting to become more motorcycle than motorcycles. So it could be a gateway drug for people who may not feel comfortable on a motorcycle, but they still want that two-wheel experience. And eventually they want to go faster or further, in which case they'll get a motorcycle. I, on the other hand, have a motorcycle. I love to go faster and further, but it's in storage right now. And while exploring areas on the motorcycle is a lot of fun, and when I say areas, I mean larger geographic areas, not running around town, but running around the geographical region. Okay. Sorry, I'm going up. I'm still in pedal assist 0. Whew. But if you're running around like a region, like I'm in Denver, I'm in North Denver right now, but if I had my bike with me and I decided to take the back roads to Evergreen, or take the long way to Golden, or take the scenic route to one of the ski resorts or something, that's where motorcycle is great. But for perusing around town here, the electric bike has been wonderful. Woo! And I chatted with somebody. Again, the building I live in is low income right now. I'm just staying there temporarily. They gave me a few months because I needed a place to stay while I look for a place. And they gave me a few months to stay there, pay lower rent. It's all inclusive, so the rent covers all the utilities and stuff too. And I'm saving a little bit of money, not much, not as much as I was hoping to, but to be fair, I have spent some money on things that I'll need when I get into a new apartment. Even yesterday, I went and checked out mattresses. I mentioned this place before, but they had a sign up that said 50% off purple mattresses, and I wanted to see what that was about. And I actually went there yesterday and checked out sure enough, 50% off. Problem was, I didn't see them being a whole lot more or less expensive than every other retailer. So when you get in there, it's 50% off MSRP. Now, nobody almost ever sells at MSRP. They usually sell lower. Except for new cars, which since COVID have sold higher than MSRP, which is destroying the auto industry because greed. And I'm pretty sure here in the next couple of years, when Donald Trump's big stupid bill goes into effect and the economy crashes, all these dealerships that are struggling right now because they were greedy during and after COVID are going to be begging for bailouts. And it's going to be like, no, you did this to yourself. You decided when you had the opportunity to gouge people, you were going to gouge them. And now nobody wants to buy your overpriced cars. Because MSRP says 40 grand, and you're trying to sell that same car for 65 grand. And sure, you can call it market forces. People who want it will pay for it. But, as the economy gets worse, that'll be less of a less of a population to draw from as customers. Even now, because the economy is doing worse, but people aren't feeling it yet. Because in the spring and early summer, when Trump was threatening tariffs everywhere, a lot of corporations overpurchased. They stocked up on supplies so that they could pay the lower tariffs and still sell at a lower rate. Well, that's about to end because those stocked up supplies are running out, and the only thing left is, Trump's tariffs. And the thing is, you still got people out there defending it, saying how, oh look, he's raised $60 billion in tariffs. yeah. Oh, sorry, I just kicked in pedal assist. Whoop, that was a spider web. I need to know how to get over here. Like how to drive over here. I don't know how to drive over here. Like I don't know what road that is that I was just under. But you still got people out there supporting that BS. You know, oh look, he raised $60 billion in tariffs alone. Look at that. And I was like, yes, but you do realize that you and I are paying the tariffs, right? Like, the tariffs go on products. The importers have to add costs to those products to pay for those tariffs. And when you purchase those products, you are paying those tariffs, that additional fee. It is essentially a tax. It is a sales tax. That's all it is. Except once removed. I feel like this park, I don't know how to get to this park. I'm sure I could find it on Google Maps, but yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you do, you guys are always talking about how savvy you are with economics and small government and spending. You do realize what's happening, right? All these farmers across the country crying, begging for sympathy, begging for empathy, because the tariffs are ruining their businesses. Because Donald Trump coming in and starting trade wars is ruining their farms. And then you got, other companies. Companies that, let's just stick with the farming and ranching. Companies that sell equipment to farmers and ranchers who have to up their prices by, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on equipment because of the tariffs. So yeah, same thing's happening with cars. USA made. I used to, when my border collie was alive, I used to take her sheep herding, and we went up to Fort Lupton. This woman was nationally known as a sheepdog trainer. So we went up there for a couple of years, and I remember one time she bought a Ford, and I have always had Chevys, or at least GMs. I had a GMC once. But I'm on my seventh vehicle, or my seventh automobile that I've ever owned. And out of the 7, 6 of them were GMs. Out of those 6, 5 of them were Chevys. 1 was a GMC. And then when I was stationed over in Europe, I had a BMW for a little bit. So, and then I've owned a couple of motorcycles. But, she bought this Ford truck, and I was like, ooh, you bought a Ford. Don't you like working vehicles? And she's like, I like made in America. I was like, that's not actually made in America, right? And she goes, yes, it is. It's assembled right here and wherever. And I'm like, okay. So I looked it up, because that's what you do. You research stuff. And sure enough, the parts were assembled in America. But like 85% of the parts were actually made overseas. So, assembled in America is different than made in America. And it was, the Ford F-150, which is what she had, was actually it was assembled in the United States, but most of the assembly came from Mexico. And I tried to explain that to her once, and she got really mad. So, cognitive dissonance and all that. So I'm like, yeah, no, your parts for your vehicle, the chassis, the drivetrain, all that was assembled in Mexico. The only thing they did in the United States was the final assembly, like putting everything together. Your truck is no more made in America than, any other vehicle. In fact, Nissan makes a lot of vehicles in the United States. Surprisingly, Kawasaki, a motorcycle company, assembles motorcycles in the United States. So, there's none of this overseas stuff. I mean, they still get parts from overseas, absolutely. But they assemble it in the States. Whew. So, it looked like the label on the first bike there said Fatty Bikes, which we pass, when I go south along the Platte River, we pass the Fatty Bikes showroom every time I go south. Well, every time I go south of Confluence Park. And I still got this stupid squeak. I don't know what it is. I was, before I started recording, I was kind of playing with the bike a little bit, trying to figure out exactly what it would be. Oop. And I can't figure it out unless the seat itself is squeaking with every pedal. Oops. When you see those guys waving at me, it's because I waved at them first. One, to let them know that yes, I recognize that they are there. Two, to let them know that I'm not going to be a jerk about it, anything. So we're at 7 miles. So we've been on this trail for 3 miles so far. I'm kind of curious. I don't think I went right here last time. Or maybe I did. Let's go right, see what happens. So I don't know if this is another trail or if this is... Oh, it is another trail. Okay. Like I said, we're just kind of exploring, kind of checking things out. A couple different trails. There's that one and this one. Okay. Well, let's see what we got. Maybe they connect over here somewhere. Again, it's all about exploring. So, yeah, I think maybe that came around over here. So it's like a UPS facility. Whew. So, yeah. Yeah, everybody's expecting, I mean, all the economists, all the businesses, everybody's expecting the economy to tank here in the next year or so. Oh, this kind of sucks. Huh. I don't know where this goes either, but it is a park of sorts. Let's find out. Yeah, because I think I mentioned that I went and test drove a truck the other day, last week actually. The guy reached out to me 2 days ago to ask if I was serious about buying it, which I would love to. The price is still good, it's just the interest rates are incredibly high. Like, he quoted me, he got on his little computer, he's like, yeah, he goes, we work with like 50 different credit unions and blah, 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 and I can have you approved in a matter of minutes. Blah, blah, blah. You know, let's say you get a 6% interest rate. And I was like, okay, that seems a little high, but sure. So 52nd and Ivy. I have no idea where I'm at other than 52nd and Ivy. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad or whatever. I know interest rates are still pretty high right now to curb inflation. And the Federal Reserve will not lower the interest rates at the moment, which has Donald Trump in a hussy, because Donald Trump believes that if you lower interest rates and everybody goes on a buying spree, you're going to put a lot of cash into the economy, which is true. But that's short-term gains at the cost of long-term success. you know, most people want long-term steady success. And the only reason interest rates were high in the first place is because the Federal Reserve raised them during and after the first Trump administration, because he cockled up the economy so much that nobody, or that the inflation got out of control. And so in order to curb inflation, they had to slow down spending. In order to slow down spending, they raised the interest rates, which is how the government and how the Federal Reserve operates. And then once interest rates come under control, or not interest rates, inflation rates come under control, you lower the interest rates, you know, a little bit, and let the power back in. Donald Trump wants to open up the fire hose and just blow everybody with as much as he can and call it a win. The problem is that won't be a win. Well, not a long-term win. It'll be short-term gains. And anybody who's been to high school and graduated understands the difference between short-term gains and long-term success. You know, you're winning the battle, not the war. Sometimes you have to think big picture, and Donald Trump is thinking only of himself and his legacy. You know, I don't even know if he's considering his legacy, because his legacy is going to be terrible. Volunteers of America. Michael Kern Kitchen. Okay. I know what Volunteers of America is, but I don't know why their kitchen is way out here. Dahlia. Okay. Huh. We're just going. I'm like still exploring. All blocks view. Oh, hill blocks view. Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's what hills do. And I guess it's determined on whether you're at the bottom of the hill or the top of the hill. Because at the top of the hill, you should have a great view. But, yeah, like I said, we're just kind of out exploring. I have no idea where I'm at. I mean, I know I'm in North Denver still. I know I'm heading west, because past the no view up there is the mountains. But I've never been in this area at all, I don't think. It'll be interesting to see where we're at when I recognize anything. Whew. Sorry, my fingers are going numb. I'm trying to get the blood circulating or get the numbness to go away. Alright. Free pallets. Oh man, if only that sign was bigger. I'd go over there and write Free Palestine. Because, you know, Free Palestine. Yeah. Okay, so where are we at? This looks vaguely familiar, but there's no signs here to tell me where I'm at. Oh, okay, this is Colorado Boulevard, okay. Where are we at on? Okay, so I'm at 8 miles. So if I head back now, I might have to do a little detour to, just to add a few miles to get to that 20 mark that I like to be at. So, we'll see. Actually, I don't even know if I can get back to the trail from here. I'm assuming I can, but I don't know if I can. I wonder if this is the overpass that I said. I wonder what overpass I'm under. Huh. Wouldn't that be interesting to find out? Oops. I still have the shocks locked out. So, while the giant tires are still absorbing some of the rough and grumble in the sidewalks, that big... I was going to say there's a bicycle over there, but there's a dude sitting in the bush with a bicycle. All right. So we're over some train tracks. All right. Road work for a year. Okay. That seems about right. This is Colorado after all. I'm just glad they're doing road work. There's a lot of places in Colorado, like right here is not so terrible, but there are a lot of places in Colorado that have terrible roads. The kind where when I come back from a road trip to Florida or something, and I come back and I'm like, this is horrible. Like, this is why we have to have four-wheel drive in Colorado, just to go to the supermarkets. That kind of thing. Now, from here, I'm not sure where there's a downspout to get back to the trail. It could be on the other side of the road here, and I just don't know. But I don't know. So again, we're exploring. And I like the exploration, so... But I wonder if this is the overpass that I was under, and I was like, ooh, I wish I knew where that was. And here comes traffic. And that guy was spending more time looking down at his dashboard than he was looking up at the road, which is fine. I mean, I do it too. Somebody put a lift on a Jeep Compass. All right, well, good for you. I do it too. You know, I'll look down at my phone to check the map or change the song or something. It happens. I don't know why. Oh, I was like, I don't know why this isn't turning, but why the little safety light over there isn't telling me it's safe to go. There we go. It told me it's safe to go, and then people kept going. But that's also Colorado for you. Yeah, why don't you stop right there on the crosswalk there, buddy? So yeah. Because I can see the trail down there. I just don't know how to get down there myself. So hopefully, there's a downspout nearby. Because right there's the trail. Even an unofficial downspout will get me down there. Oops. Sorry, that was too muddy. Yeah. We're gonna try it, see what happens. Worst case scenario, I get some mud on my tires. Oh, I should have left the shocks on. Oops, oops. There we go. There we go. Woo! Okay, so that is it. Colorado Boulevard. All right. Because I met her, she lives in my building. I met her a month or more ago. But she's one of those people who's always high. And she flat out told me one day, she goes, I microdose all day long. It's easier to be high than it is to be sober right now. And I was like, okay. You know, To each their own, I guess. You know, I'm gonna go turn around and take that trail. I just want to see where it goes. But I was chatting with her yesterday. She was sitting in the smoking section because she's a smoker. But I went over, I stood upwind, and I was just BSing with her a little bit because while we've had, trail closed. While we've had conversations, they've usually been short, and she's been high. So she doesn't often remember the conversations. Because she'll tell me something, I'm like, yeah, you told me that the other day. And, oh, I did? I'm sorry. Yeah, that kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. Sorry. I don't know where this goes or if it goes anywhere at all. But I'm guessing it doesn't go anywhere at all at this point. Because, unless it goes this way, it kind of doesn't. So we're going to turn around. This is why I want an adventure motorcycle, so that if I come across something like this, I can just kind of go through it without having to stop and turn around. But on this bike, I'm not going to stop and I'm not going to try and push through. Sorry, the sprocket was trying to change gears for some reason. Oh, that's a security light. Starting to see a lot of those everywhere. Parking lots especially. And I don't know if it's I always thought it was to warn off would-be thieves and muggers and stuff in parking areas. Pardon me, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. But now I'm wondering if it's if things like that are more to keep an eye out for homeless people trying to camp. Yeah, see, there's a pile of homeless person poop. So I was hoping the trail would take me up over this, off to the right-hand side here, and maybe bring me down over here or something, but it didn't. And squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Awesome. Yeah, it got squeakier, is my point. But yeah, I'd love to have the kind of motorcycle where, yeah, if I had to get through that dirt trail or something, I could do it without too much problems. Now, could I do it on my sport bike? Probably. Could I do it on a cruiser? Yeah, probably. I went through a dirt road one time on my sport bike, and, it said, it had a sign on there that said road work next 10 miles, and the next turn to kind of do the loop that we were on was going to be like 30 miles out of the way. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just go down here, thinking it was going to be scraped dirt, or not scraped dirt, but scraped concrete, scraped asphalt or something. No, it turns out they pulled up everything and it was just dirt. You know how dirt roads get those ruts in them that make you feel like you're driving over a xylophone? Not a xylophone. What's the wash thing that hillbillies use to make music? But see, I kind of wanted to go up to the right there just to kind of see what happened. So I'm not sure if you can go through there. I mean, it looks like you can. You just have to do it. Okay, well, good to know. And I don't know how to get down to this road at all from anywhere. I don't know where to connect to this. I'll have to look at a map. But, yeah. Cruiser, we were on this dirt road, just kind of going, trying to get through the 10 miles or so on our sport bikes. And we're going pretty slow, because sport bikes are not designed for dirt roads. So we're going pretty slow, probably 30 miles an hour instead of the way faster we probably would have been going. And this guy on a Harley comes speeding past us like he was on a dual sport or something. And I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he just waved. It's like, "All right, So yeah, I don't know if if a Harley, because they're, the cruisers tend to be pretty heavy. I don't know if they could get through like a muddy track or a dirt track or something if it's not hard pressed and clear of obstruction. I know sport bikes generally cannot. That's why I want to get an adventure bike. But yeah, so I was talking with this girl, in the smoking area, and she's relatively attractive. Nice figure, nice face, blah, blah, blah. But when you start talking to her, and she's very intelligent, she really likes philosophy and questions about the universe and trying to make, the randomness of life make sense. And she told me yesterday, she said, yeah, she goes, I was raised religious because I was raised in a very religious house in Oklahoma. She goes, over the years, I became an atheist because, there just didn't seem to be, God didn't, or religion didn't seem to be, giving me any answers. In fact, religion seemed to hate me because of who she is. And she goes, but through atheism and through researching a bunch of stuff, I came back to, God, but not religion. And I was like, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. How did you get back to God? And she said, I found some things that are inexplainable, and the only way to explain them are if a God exists and put that in motion or set that in place. And I'm like, okay. She goes, yeah, it's people that ruin God's word. It's people that, wrote the Bible and sanctified their own biases, while it's God that says, love everybody and be a good neighbor and, don't hurt anybody. I was like, okay, yeah, if you're a New Testament person or a Jesus believer, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. I told her, I said, I'm still a diehard atheist. Nothing is ever going to change that. Let's take this one, because I think I did see where this came out. But we had a fairly good conversation, and then, sorry, something was making noises that I didn't understand. It wasn't the squeaky noise, it was something else, and I was trying to figure out what it was. I think the tires are kicking up some of this gravel into the fender. So I think what I was thinking about was that way, but we got a few miles to make up, so let's go this way and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to turn around and show you guys something. I have no idea where I'm at. I know where I'm at, but I have no idea, where I'm at. So I just passed this. So this is obviously not a well-traversed underpass. There's no bicycle trail or, paved lot or anything nearby. But I see this tow strap hung from the rafter up there. Now, it could be something benign. Hanging your food so a mountain lion or a bear or nobody comes and steals it if you're sleeping under the bridge. Okay. Unfortunately, my first thought was, holy crap, if somebody committed suicide under here by hanging themselves, how long would they be hanging here before anybody recognized it? Recognized that they were hanging here dead. Yeah. So imagine a story, Law and Order, or a movie or a book or something starting with that. Like body found hanging under an overpass. So again, I know I'm in Commerce City, and I could probably find this road if I absolutely had to, but I'm not 100% sure where I'm at. But the big building over here off to the right hand, kind of like at my 130 mark, I've seen that a gazillion times driving through Commerce City, so I know I'm in Commerce City. Whew. Truck's turning. But yeah, this girl, yeah, she was just fun to talk to because she, you know, she's able to have a conversation greater than, you know, superficial. And I appreciate that. And then she started to, she'd throw little flirty lines out there. And to be fair, she was sharing her vape with me, where she had the THC concentrate. And I wasn't feeling a whole lot of it. Not like I do when I try like edibles or something. But I started feeling it a little bit, just to kind of like, I would guess what a micro dose is, you know, just kind of alleviate the stress as opposed to a full bore, you know, I want to get effed up and kind of let my mind do its own thing and see where it goes. Maybe I have driven through here before. That house looked familiar. The one with the green grass there that we just passed. It almost looks like I came down here, realized I was on the wrong road, and then turned around. But yeah. But she kept throwing like what I was guessing was flirty lines at me. And I'm sitting there wondering because, yeah, Colorado Boulevard. Because of some of the things she was saying. And I was like a dog came by while we were talking, and it came up to me, and I started petting it, and then it rolled over and let me rub its belly, and she'd say things like, oh, now I'm jealous because I'm not getting that. You know, stuff like that. And then she just flat out like jumped into it and started telling me what she likes in bed. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't, I mean, I'm a dude. I thought about it, but I'm also like, you know, I'm trying to see what kind of a person you are. I'm not trying to just treat you as a sex kitten. And she's, you know, and she's telling me like all the things that she does and all the things that she likes and how sex is so much better for her since she stopped inhibiting herself and letting her freak flag fly. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, good for you. Not saying I won't take you up on that offer, just saying it's not going to be today. For a couple of reasons. First and foremost, by the time we got to that part of the conversation, I had already taken a sleep aid. So I wasn't looking to get into anything where I had to be rigid when I was super relaxed. Does that make sense? So yeah. So as you probably noticed, I turned around. I'm going to take one of those trails and try to go see where they go. Oh, there's I'm hoping that was a dog and not something else. That is a puppy. What's up, puppy? What's up, puppy? Hi. You want to come here and say hi? Want to come here and say hi? Come here and say hi. I'll say hi to you. Oh my gosh, I'll say hi to you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hi. Hi, puppy. What's up, man? Oh, come here. Oh, really? Really? Oh, hey, buddy. Hi. So the puppy came over, and he's a puppy. I guess 6-8 months old. We turn the bike around so you can see him walk away. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to get him to come over to me because I want to pet him. I want to pet all the puppies. But I'm also trying to figure out, like, is it somebody who works or lives around here and they just let their dogs run free because there's not a lot of traffic? That other dog came up as I was petting the other puppy, which is behind that flower pot right there. You can see him. So they went in there. Okay, so they know where they're at. Okay. Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, oh crap. How do I get that dog back with me? Because he's a puppy. He's got no collar, got no leash. got no tags. You know, he could be an abandoned puppy out here, or a runaway or something. So I was starting to wonder, like, shoot, how do I make this work? But hopefully that's where they live, or at least that's where they stay, and the people take care of them there. So we're gonna go this way and see what happens, because the other way is just too muddy. I've seen this from the interstate, because the interstate's right here to my left. I believe that's 270 to my left. That's if you can see that mountain off in the distance, that's Long's Peak. Okay, so this is not a through place. We're gonna go over here and double check just to make sure there's no through trail, but I don't think it is. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oops. And is there a trail that goes through here? Huh? No, sir. Okay.
This is all private property.
Okay.
If you go underneath the bridge,
Yeah.
along that ditch, then it connects to the trail.
Yeah, that's where I came from. I thought maybe it went and connected on this side of the interstate too. Okay, cool. Oh, this is muddy. Well, yep, this is muddy. So if you didn't hear him, which I don't know why you would, he was telling me that this is not a through trail, that is private property, and to go back where I came from. Which is fine. Like I said, I don't know if this is a through trail at all. I didn't realize it was private property. I thought maybe it was city property for disposing of. Like, you can see all the cut down trees and stuff. I just thought it was city or county or something. But yeah, because there's nothing back here that says, you know, private property, no entry or anything like that. And like I said, this way is too muddy. I'm not even going to attempt that, because even now, just putting my feet down to talk to that guy, my bottom of my shoes caked in mud, and I can feel it on the pedal, like sliding everywhere. So yeah, I'm fairly certain, because he said go back under the bridge and there'll be a trail there that'll connect you to the bigger trail. I'm fairly certain he was talking about this one, which again we're taking because, you know, it's all about exploration. But all it's going to do is bring, if I would have gone straight, connected to the paved trail, I think this just connects down where the paved trail is. Because I saw it earlier. I don't know if I was recording yet. I saw it earlier. I almost took this going east. I'm going west now. So, yeah. See right there where the bridge is. That's where the paved trail is. Oops. And I just had some bugs in my hair. Now, it's interesting. Sorry, I was having thoughts. Oops. Oh wow, I ate through a lot of battery today. Well, this is my third day on this battery charge, and I'm at 12 and a half miles right now. But keep in mind, the first 4 or 5 miles, I wasn't in pedal assist. So it's all just been pedal for me, or hasn't been that much, but I should easily get to the 20-mile mark if I ride that far, which means I'm getting about 60 miles out of a charge. But that also means that of that 60 miles, because again, remember, I'm not the smallest person in the world, and moving weight takes a lot more energy than moving no weight. Not that I'm like super heavy or anything. I mean, I am, but some of it's muscle. I even had a guy in my building, cool guy. He's a 67-year-old Army veteran who has a very interesting story about his life. But the short part of it is, even though he looks black and he like acts a certain way, he swears up and down he's 100% Native American. That his last name is Dancer because Native Americans dance. That he, you know, his last name was fortuitous because at one point apparently he was an exotic dancer. And according to him, he was also a pimp and he's also been a drug dealer. But he and I are cool. So we chat all the time. I helped him jump his car the other day because he was working on his car and it sat there for a few days and then I guess the battery died. So I gave him a jump. But yeah. But he caught me going through the parking lot yesterday as I was leaving or coming. I don't actually remember. But he caught me going through the parking lot and he's like, hey man, you know, blah, blah, you know, hey small guy or something like that. And I was like, what? And he goes, I'm just joking with you, man, because you're so big. And I was like, dude, I'm not that big. Like, I don't think I'm that big unless I see me in pictures next to other people. Then I realize how large I actually am. But, you know, compared to a lot of people, I'm not that big. I work out. I have muscle everywhere, you know, encased in a fine layer of fat. But he was like, yeah, he goes, no, man. He goes, you look good. You actually slimmed down even since I met you, you know, a month ago. You've slimmed down a little bit. And I'm hoping it's because of these bicycle rides and the fact that I'm not eating out as much as I was, you know, this time last year. Trying to eat, you know, a little bit healthier, trying to exercise a little bit more, you know, and just be healthier. You know, while I'm not looking to live forever, I'm not looking to hurt or be in pain for the rest of my life either. So, good news is we'll get back and I'll charge the battery and I don't know if I'll get through the weekend on it, but at least I'll have a charged battery. So yeah, when I came this way, I passed by these RVs that are apparently camped out here. I don't know if they're there for the day or there for a couple of days because I haven't been up this way in a few days. But this is where that burnt out RV was that I went around that one day early on my treks in this direction. So yeah. Whew. And it would have been interesting to see what the water did down here yesterday after all the rain. Because when I was going south yesterday, the river was, you know, a foot higher than typical and rushing pretty well. Now it's back to almost normal levels, if not normal levels, and moving at a snail's pace again. Well, relative to a river. There's footsteps down there in the sand. Somebody crawled down there and walked to the water's edge or walked into the water. How creepy would that be? Could you imagine that? I mean, there's a water treatment facility next door here. Like on the other side of the fence to my left. Could you imagine if there was some kind of cryptid that lived in the river, but because the water levels are so low, it has to come up and stay in one of the water tanks over here in order to survive, but it knows it can't be there during the daytime, so it goes back to the river during the day. I mean, that would make a compelling story too. Yeah, sorry, I got a wild imagination. Sometimes. I'm actually not really good at imagination. I'm good at augmenting imagination. So, like for example, 2 weeks ago, the building that I'm staying in, because it's low income and everything, they try to have things for residents to do. Because a lot of people don't have cars. A lot of people don't have money for taxi rides or anything all the time. A lot of people are disabled, and the nearest bus stop is about a half a mile away, you know, etc. So they try to have things to do on site for the residents. And on Fridays, one of the residents actually hosts an art workshop. So he brings pens, pencils, coloring books, blank paper, watercolors, oil colors, or oil paints, blah, blah, blah. He brings all these things. And anybody who wants to show up can show up and partake. So I went there. I have no ability to draw whatsoever. I can color, but I have no concept of, I guess I have a minor understanding of color theory, which is one of those things I get into when I am inebriated, if you know what I mean. It's fascinating to like watch a movie or a TV show and go over the color theory behind like set design and costume choices and stuff, but that's me. And lighting, that's me, looking a little bit too deep into it, or maybe thinking about stuff that I typically just accept. But yeah, it's really fascinating to be in my mind when I'm not focused, if that makes sense. So bunch of different e-bikes there. None of them squeak like mine, though. I might have to contact the manufacturer and be like, yeah, why does it squeak so much? But yeah, I sat down with them because the guy is like, yeah, you said you wanted to try oil paint. So I went and bought some oil paints, and some canvases so you could practice. And I was like, oh, cool. So I went ahead and made it a point of going because the guy did go out of his way to help, to make it appealing for me. The least I could do was show up for his art thing. And I read, like way back when I was in my undergraduate program, I had one of my classes that I took was about communication, not like marketing and branding, but about gender communication and interpersonal communication, or as I like to call it, how to pick up women. It was not how to pick up women, but it taught me that women see the world differently than guys do, in general. I mean, we're just using generalizations here, not individual examples. Because there are plenty of women out there who think like men, and plenty of men out there who think like women. We call those guys MAGA. But anywho, sorry. MAGA really are a joke. Sorry, it's true. They're like Pepe Le Pew, if you remember that old cartoon. They just think their stink doesn't stink. And they go around acting like they are the cream of the crop. Everybody should love them. They are just the best thing that's ever happened to you. But they stink and nobody wants to be around them. And that would definitely describe MAGA. Yeah, so I'm sitting there at this thing and I have the oils and stuff and I'm like, I don't know what to paint. Like, do I just like try to paint a picture? Do I do something, what's the word? Not generic, but something, I don't even know what the word is. I can see it in my head, but for some reason I can't translate what I see to my mouth. But, it's more of an idea or an imprint of an idea rather than an actual thing. So instead of painting a tractor on a farm, you paint something that resembles a tractor on a impression, like an impression of something. That's the word I was looking for, impression. So yeah, it'll be, and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I actually popped out my phone and I found, I just plugged in like, I can't remember what I searched for, but I just searched for generic terms and I was like, okay. And then I started scrolling through and I found some AI art that looked really cool. And I was like, let me try to paint this. I did a horrible job. But I did hang the painting in the room, in the apartment that I'm staying in. And I was very, and I see it, whenever I'm watching TV, it's kind of off to the side of the TV. And it's kind of grown on me. Like, I look at it and it, like, it has depth and meaning, that I wasn't thinking about when I made it. So, yeah, that's tomorrow. I might do that again. We'll see. But yeah, there's not, like, I'm not the guy that's going to paint a picture of a tractor and a house in the background with hills and a sunsetting sky and kids running across an open field. I'm not that guy. So, I was going to go over here. They were doing construction over here earlier. So I don't know if they stopped or if it's 11 o'clock. They might have taken a lunch break. And I don't know if there's any way to get in there at all right now because they have that hall fenced off. Where am I at? 15 miles. So I don't think I'm gonna get back to. I don't think I'm gonna get to 20 by the time I get back. So I may have to deviate a little bit and see what happens. Maybe go explore some more. Matter of fact, let's do that. I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. I'm gonna go this way. You know what's so funny is that I told you I went and looked at a truck last week. The guy reached out to me, blah, 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 talking about interest rates and stuff. He's like, yeah, if you can get an interest rate of this, which if you have a credit score of this or higher, that should be easy enough. It looks like your payment's only going to be about $300 a month, which was feasible for me. It wouldn't be great. I'd have to definitely curb my spending habits. Like, I wouldn't be able to go to the store and be like, ooh, yeah, let me get this because it's on sale. It'd be more like, can I afford that this month? So I'm not sure I want to do it, although it is a great price. But I did, I got online yesterday and checked out some veterans buying programs, like, how do I say this? Like there's, not Geico, but Navy Federal Credit Union that does, loans for veterans. I went to their website and they're like, oh yeah, check and see what your payment's going to be based on generalizations, like how much is the vehicle, what's your credit score? Oh yeah, we'll get you an interest rate of this percent and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's like $20 or $30 a month more than the other thing was telling me. So I was like, well, that's not good. Yeah, so I just wanted to come over. Instead of going south, I wanted to go north and see what happened. Since we're just exploring. See, here's a little tavern. Mexican restaurant and bar. I wonder if it's any good. So I do like me some Mexican food. And then, the building's painted with murals all the way around. That's cool. And there's some houses. But yeah. And then I went to another one and I was like, wait a minute, none of these are offering me the lower interest rate that this guy said I could qualify for. So is he just using that as a sales technique, saying, oh yeah, here's an incredibly low, perfect interest rate, trying to get me to run the numbers so that, he can qualify me, which I thought was, I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense from a sales perspective. You want to qualify your buyer, make sure that they are capable of buying. And the only way he can do that is to run the numbers. But I was kind of hoping, if I called somebody or, even got around to, oops, I'm going to go through. This Porsche can wait. And we'll go up here. But, oops. There may not be a way off this sidewalk. Oh, I guess here we go. and then sidewalk. So we join traffic and we go this way. And if this were a year ago and I saw that deal on that truck, I'd hop on it like white on rice. But conditions are different this year, hence the living in a low-income place while I look for another place and things like that. So we're going this way because I don't know where it eventually goes. I want to say I came down here going the other way one time. So I'm going to see if I can find that trail and go this way and go back. I'm still not going to hit 20 miles. I got maybe 2 or 3 miles to go, and I got 4 miles to get to 20. I thought maybe for a second that dude was lived in my building, because there's a guy that lives in my building that he is definitely on. I think he's a veteran. I'm not 100% sure. I've never asked. But he's got, like, if you ever go to YouTube or go to another channel on YouTube and look up shell shock interviews. And these interviews will show you, like, what shell shock was after World War I and II. Let's go this way and check it out. Okay, so we got some houses here. Some nice houses. Wow. Yeah. I mean, they're townhouses, but they're nice for being right next to an industrial area. I'm not going to go in there just because. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, he has the mannerisms and the shakiness of shell shock, and I don't know how else to describe it. He's constantly shaking, he's constantly stuttering because he can't stop shaking long enough to speak. And I don't know if he had brain damage or if something happened and it mentally hit him, but he spends a lot of time walking around with a grocery store cart picking up garbage, which is fine. You know, I'm a big fan. You know, litter is one of my biggest pet peeves, so I'm a big fan of people who pick up garbage. But he's not picking it up and throwing it in a dumpster. He's not like, you know, everything needs to be neat, dress or anything. He picks up just random stuff on the side of the street. Like, I'm looking for anything that might work. And there's nothing around here that might work. But he'll pick up like a wiring harness or a fender from a car or something. And he'll be like, and then, you know, if he sees you, he'll be like, oh, do you want to buy any of this stuff? And it's like, no, dude, sorry. He's like, okay, well, let me know. Okay. So when I saw that guy with the grocery cart back there, I was wondering if that might be him. Oh, that Jeep was turning. My bad. That Jeep was turning. The one that was behind me. Hi, puppy. So, yeah. And supposedly over here somewhere is a... let's go check it out. Is a rec center for people who live in the city and county of Denver. And since I'm currently staying in the city of the county of Denver, I'm supposed to be able to join this rec center. Maradon Career Center. The Stella, now leasing. This Krav Maga, according to their website, they are the first and longest lasting Krav Maga center in Colorado. I don't know how true that is, but supposedly over here there's a place called 5280 Gym or 5280 Workouts or something. It's not the fitness gallery. better mattress. Alright, well. D&D Bistro. Oh, smoke shop, vape shop, wholesale only, okay. Which is cool, you know, that industry needs stuff too. That was unique. So yeah, one of the people in my building says he does come over this way and does go to the gym. And I know it's over here in this area. I just don't know where. I've looked for it a few times while driving, and I don't know if I'm just missing it or if I'm going too fast to pass it or whatever. But I was like, yeah, it's right over there. It's like literally close enough to ride a bike to. And he goes, no, I walked to it. And I was like, oh, it's that close? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, all right. I just assumed he rode a bike because he has a bicycle and I see him riding it all the time. But he said it's dead in there too. So this is about as far as I'm gonna go. Grizzly Rose is hiring if anybody's looking for a job. I don't know what kind of position they're hiring for, but they're hiring. A bunch of country people. And I still don't see a rec center or anything, so I'm gonna have to look it up. Alright, we're gonna turn around. Yeah, I couldn't work there. Not because I don't think I could, but I've never worked in the service industry at all. And I don't think I could be around country music that much. So, but yeah, supposedly over here somewhere is a gym that I'm allowed to go to. I just don't know where. And of course, the building I'm in, they'll tell you about stuff if you ask, but they don't like have it on the bulletin board, or they don't offer you the information. Like I had mentioned to a few people that I go to the gym all the time. They're like, what gym? And I say, oh, this one. One that I've had a membership at for like 4 years now. And they're like, oh, okay, and that's it. They don't say, oh yeah, but you know, you can go to this other gym for free or discounted because, you know, you are currently living in the city of Denver. Which would be nice. You know, give me the opportunity to make a decision as opposed to taking that decision-making information away from me or not providing it. So, but they do that a lot in that building. Like I said, it's manned 24/7, and they will give you information if you ask, but they do not offer anything. And then sometimes when you do ask, they kind of like get in your, how do I say this? They kind of dismiss it. Whoopsie. Oh man, I was kind of hoping it wasn't a drop. Alright. So yeah. Like one time when I first moved in there, you know, I was like, okay, where do I drop the rent at? Because they're like, we take check or money orders. That's it. No online payments, no e-payments, no nothing. I'm like, okay, where do I leave that at? Who do I give the check to? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you work here. You're trying to tell me you don't know where I pay for services at? And they're like, no. Are you freaking kidding me? So maybe that 5280 is over here on this stretch. That gym I was talking about? I don't know. But that fence is broken down. I mean, there's a sign there that says private property, but I'm really surprised there aren't homeless people camped back there. Like maybe it's over here on this stretch. Cabinets, lumber liquidators, CBD. Alright, well, I think last time I went down here and there was no throughway, so I had to turn around and come back. But we're gonna try it again just because instead of just checking it out, I'm actually looking for something. I do want to come to this restaurant supply place, just kind of walk through. Like I have some kitchen stuff. Unfortunately, I used to live with a woman who was a very good cook. I've had to I picked up some cooking habits from her. Not like technique or anything, but like the desire to want to cook better, to explore culinary options. Yeah, see, nothing over here. So I officially don't know where it's at. I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere or find it online. But so yeah, that's why I went when it was time for me to be on my own again, and I had to like refurnish my kitchen wares and everything. She had top of the line Calphalon, or however that's pronounced. That was her big thing, was she wanted the top of the line Calphalon. I bought stainless steel because I read stainless steel is better for your health than anything with Teflon, and her stuff was Teflon coated, but as she put it, well, it's the good Teflon. Okay. But I didn't want Teflon. I didn't want to risk any chemicals or anything that I might ingest. And I bought nice, not as nice. I bought her like one of those $500 blenders when we were together, and I didn't buy myself anything like that. But I bought a $200 one recently. It's in storage, waiting to move to the new place. Things like that. Like, I know how to use oils now. I know how to, fry things and bake things and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's been very fun looking. So I'd like to go through and see if there's anything in the kitchen showroom that I need, because most of the crap I buy I get at Costco. I mean, let's be fair, the prices are freaking phenomenal. Even if, like, I tried to explain it to my mom years ago, and she's like, I can't believe you spent $200 at Costco. And I'm like, yeah, no, the question should be, how did you only spend $200 at Costco? And I'm like, they have good deals. And she's like, no. She goes, you spent $10 on 8 cans of soup. If I go to the store right now, I can get 8 cans of soup for $8. I'm like, yeah, but you have to look at the return on investment, not just how much you're spending, which is something my mom has always struggled with. Because she likes to go bargain shopping, take her coupons to 15 different stores to save $10. And I'm constantly telling her things like, you do realize that you're driving around wasting gas to go save $1 here, $1 there, $3 there. You're actually spending more money in gas than you're saving shopping at all these different places. Like, you get that, right? Like, it's one thing if you're in a mall and you're walking around from the different stores and, you're like, yeah, I'm going here because they got a sale on underwear, and I'm going there because they got a sale on socks. Yeah, sure, whatever. It's not costing you anything but time and energy. But when you're driving, 4 miles over here to go to this store because they have a sale on socks, and then turning, and you have a coupon, and then going over here and using, that coupon that got mailed to you for being a repeat customer, you're turning around using that coupon at this business that's 4 miles in the other direction. So now you're 8 miles into it, depending on what kind of vehicle you got, that could be a whole gallon of gas or half a gallon of gas. So you have to consider that. Like, let's say it's a half a gallon of gas, 8 miles. Half a gallon of gas used to make this trip. At today's prices, that would be about $1.50. Okay, well, is your coupon for more than $1.50, or at least $1.50, so you're breaking even? Those kind of things. And my mom she doesn't get it. So when I had to explain to her that, sorry, I'm just riding around. I'm not going to get to 20. I was like, I'm at 18 and a half. I got about a mile to go. But yeah, I was like, yeah, it might be $10 for 8 cans of soup, but look at the cans of soup. You go to the supermarket and that can of soup's going to be 8-9 ounces. You come here to Costco, that, you know, can of soup is going to be like 13 ounces. It's going to be like 1.5 cans of what you're spending on. So when you do price per can, you're actually saving by buying in bulk. And she's like, you know, she doesn't want to hear it. But, you know, sometimes you got to do that. Like, you know, cost mitigation. Is it worth buying and saving money, or, you know, wasting money later? So, anywho, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you guys for coming along. I think that dude lives in the guy in the scooter lives in my building. Thanks for coming along, and we will talk again probably tomorrow. Oops, nope, I gotta be on the other sidewalk. All right, thanks for coming along, and we will chat again later. Bye.